Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. We have a large area of air quality alerts out there in portions of West Virginia. We're in the middle of those as well. I'm observing some dense wildfire smoke impacting visibility and air quality today. The West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection, northern and central areas of the state, including Charleston, have an air quality alert until midnight. I'm looking at air quality from earlier this morning. The purple and maroon, that's very unhealthy to hazardous air quality. That goes beyond affecting sensitive breathing groups, but all groups. So it is highly recommended to take necessary precautions with the dense smoke that's out there. Tonight, chance of rain, then likely Saturday night. I'll be watching for a risk of heavy and excessive rain. For the weekend, potential of flash flooding and timing some severe weather potential too. Later today, we have a marginal risk of isolated damaging winds with storms in western areas of the state, then up to a slight risk for scattered damaging winds possible on Saturday. Eastern Panhandle, isolated large hail. Northern Panhandle, a brief spin up of a tornado possible too. 91 in Charleston yesterday. We also heating up, have some areas of dense fog with the smoke. Western areas, we have a stationary front transitioning into a warm front today, ushering in that chance of a shower and storm. Fly Saver forecast, it starts at home. Charlotte heating up near 100 degrees today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, air quality alerts, high near 90, up to hazardous air quality. Chance of storms tonight, lows near 70. To the east, air quality alerts, highs near 90. Chance of a storm tonight, low near 70. Central areas, some highs, low 90s in here. Air quality alert in effect until midnight, lows in the 70s. And to the south, hot, hazy and smoky skies. Cold front works in from the north early Sunday. Saturday, rain likely. Heavy rain and excessive rain with the risk of severe weather. Then chances of storms next week, but not as hot.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Coming up this morning, President Trump addresses the nation. Secretary of State Kris will stop by. Public Service Commission continues its hearing on a proposed natural gas-fired power plant. Stirewalt and steam release. It's a loaded Friday show. We're ready to go.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Cue Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Gang's all here. Dave in Morgantown, TJ in Charleston. Sophia handling the audio side of things. Intern Mila running the video stream under the watchful eye of Supervisor Jake Link. Phone numbers 800-765-TALK. Text line 304-TALK-304. Those are your 2 ways to participate in today's program. Keep the numbers handy. Steam release coming up at 11:33 this morning. More on that in a moment. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia and around the state of West Virginia. We appreciate you letting us be part of your day. And if you're watching in on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube, don't forget, download the app to your favorite mobile device and even your smart TV to watch this program and all the other fine offerings from the Metro News Radio Network. Say good morning to TJ Meadows down in the Charleston studios. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. I didn't see much Canadian haze on my drive-in today. Has it hit you yet, Dave? Are you seeing it?
It's terrible. Here in Morgantown, yeah, it's hazy. There's a smoky smell in the air up at my house, which is a little bit north of town. It's worse than that. If you're around a campfire, the wind shifts and you get a little bit of smoke in your eyes, and up at the house, if you spend much time outside, your eyes will start to burn a little bit, start watering. If you have any sort of respiratory thing, it'll get to you. So, and it smells. It smells like, and I don't mean this jokingly, it smells like burning forest. There is a smoky smell in the air. So hopefully the thunderstorms this weekend knock some of that down and shift the winds a little bit, because quite frankly, it's annoying.
Other than the bacon, are we getting anything good from them? I mean,
No.
Go watch the movie Canadian Bacon if you haven't, by the way. You'll enjoy that.
John Candy, Canada's greatest export. And maybe it's the Canadian smoke. Maybe it's the heat, TJ. I told you earlier this morning, here's my early steam release. I'm confused. Everybody's worked up this week over something, whether it's flock cameras, the Department of Education, school reform, gas-fired power plants, TANF funding, which I cannot figure out how that math is working out. Everybody's worked up over something. I don't know if it's the Canadian smoke, if it's the dog days of summer, it's the heat and humidity, but as I told you in the pre-show meeting, I'm as confused as I've ever been going into a show about all of the outrage and the angst and great gnashing of teeth and renting of clothes that has gone on this week over any number of subjects.
I was just starting to get my arms around it just a bit. And then the president spoke last night, and now I'm all confused again. So we're going to have to get into that as well.
Well, I can tell you, and you can double confirm this, unequivocally, there is no Chinese influence over this program.
That is correct, sir.
So this program is secure from Chinese influence.
We know that much.
State Secretary of State Kris Warner did release a statement in reaction to the president's comments last night. We'll talk to him about that a little bit later on this morning. Now, I did mention education. There's been a lot of talk this week on the social medias and some other avenues as well about the State Department of Education, the Board of Education, accountability, reforms, and such. Joining us this morning to help clear some of that up is Kelli Talbott. She is the General Counsel for the West Virginia Department of Education. She joins us from the Encova Insurance Studios South in Charleston there with TJ. Kelli, good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
This is such a big, another one of these things where you really got to try to wrap your arms around. The terms are getting thrown around a lot. Accountability. There needs to be more accountability. There needs to be more reforms here. Let's just start. Give me the basics here with the Department of Education.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we have to understand in order to understand this accountability debate is what the voters of this state have decided is going to be our governance structure for public education. Back in 1958, we had an elected state superintendent of schools, and our legislature commissioned a study by experts about whether that should continue, whether our education system should be governed by a partisan elected official. That was put on the ballot in 1958, and the voters at that time put the State Board of Ed in the Constitution of the state of West Virginia, decided that they would be an independent body, independent of the governor, that their policymaking would be independent of the legislature, and that's the system that we currently have today. But there were two other inflection points that I think are very important. One was in 1989, and I'm old enough to remember when Governor Caperton was governor at that time, and he proposed a constitutional amendment which would have completely taken the state board out of the Constitution and reconstituted it as a body under the direction of the governor. That failed at the ballot by a 90% margin against, which in today's terms, it's kind of hard to imagine that kind of margin, but that's what it was. And then, as you all know, in 2022, there was a measure put on the ballot that would have altered the governance structure to some degree because it would have required state board policies to be subject to legislative approval. And of course, that failed at the ballot by 58% margin. So we have had multiple inflection points at the ballot box where the voters have decided that they want a state board who is accountable to the people, but not directly accountable as far as being elected at the ballot box.
So, Kelli, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
Why are we in court then?
Well, the Heckler case that you may be familiar with that was decided in the 80s, the Supreme Court said at that time that the state board's policy-making authority, its rulemaking authority, derived from the Constitution, that thing that the people gave the State Board of Ed the mandate for, and that was not subject to legislative veto. There's a separation of powers issue here. The state board is part of the executive branch, but they don't answer directly to the legislature with regard to their policy making. And of course, that was the subject of the 2022 amendment. The legislature, as you all know, decided, I believe it was 2024 session, 2025 session, that they were going to pass a bill that purported to do the same thing that the constitutional amendment that failed does. And so that's why the State Board of Ed brought the case that's currently pending in the Supreme Court. So that is why we are in court on that issue. But getting back to the accountability issue, just because state board policies and rules aren't subject to legislative approval or veto doesn't mean the state board is not accountable. We are accountable in many, many ways. We are accountable to the legislature with regard to our budget. They hold the power of the purse. We submit multiple reports to them that they request and that are codified in statute that we report to them. We are subject to performance review and legislative audit by the legislative auditor. And the legislature is free to look at whatever data comes from that oversight and pass law. They have very broad authority to pass law to hold the state board accountable, the county boards accountable. So I don't think it's correct to say that the state board is not accountable merely because the voters of this state said that our policies don't go through the legislature. And I think that's very important to understand. The other thing I would say is the legislature is an integral part of the public education governance system. They have a constitutional mandate to provide for a thorough and efficient system of free schools. So they are a partner with the state board in the governance of public education. They pass the laws. The State Board of Ed obviously can't change those laws. They have the power of the purse. The State Board of Ed does not have the power of the purse. So we have to work in partnership with them under the constitutional governance structure that we have in order to give the school children of this state the education that they are entitled to and that they deserve.
Talking to Kelli Talbott, General Counsel for the State Department of Education. So, Kelli, where do you think, and I'm asking your opinion here, where do you think this confusion comes from? Is it purposeful confusion, or is it just a lack of understanding of how this very intertwined system works?
Well, I think part of it is that people don't know history. They don't know how we got where we got and why we got there. And maybe that's something that could be remedied. I certainly try to talk about this historical backdrop every opportunity I get because I think it's very important. Because, you hear a lot of terms bandied about when folks are talking about legal interpretation. Originalism is one of them. Mm-hmm. Well, the original intent of the constitutional amendment that was passed in 1958 to put the state board in the Constitution was clearly, you can go back and look at the documents and the reports and the public debates that were being had at that time, was to have the state board operate independent in a nonpartisan way, to remove it as much as possible from partisan politics. And that's why the state superintendent was removed from being a partisan elected official, which that position was at the time. So basically, the gist of that was that there is a place for partisan politics, but the voters decided that public education wasn't that place. And so can it be removed completely from that? Surely not. But the voters' intent was to try to remove it as much as possible. And I just don't think that folks understand that complete history. That contributes to part of the confusion, I believe.
Here's where I struggle. you've got a legislature who did what you said, passed this bill to do essentially what the constitutional ballot amendment would have done that failed.
Right.
The people have weighed in on this.
Right.
Now, you can tell me that other amendments were on and all that. Whatever.
Yeah, right.
The people don't owe an explanation to the government.
Right.
The people made their choice.
Right.
With all that said, here's what gets me. I've been looking at Chapter 18, and you go and read it in the code. It's not that cumbersome in the code. But then you go to the Secretary of State's website and you read all of the administrative law that stems from that.
Yes.
That has to be undertaken. Much of which, you correct me if I'm wrong, is there because of what laws the legislature has passed. It's not as if you all aren't subject to various laws that the legislature passes. So yes, while you have policy-making ability, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems to me much of that policy, much of that Gutenberg Bible, as we call it, that Paul Hardesty has held up meeting after meeting, comes from law that has been passed that you all then have to make and promulgate a rule around. Right or wrong?
That is correct. When the legislature passes public education law, you will frequently see in those statutory enactments a directive to the State Board of Ed to do a policy to essentially implement that law or flesh it out. And so the State Board of Ed has done that. I will be honest with you, there are times that those statutes are fairly bare bones, and the policy therefore has to be a little bit more robust to implement the law. And sometimes the legislature will pass a statute that's fairly prescriptive that we're kind of pondering what we would even put in a policy. That why is the legislature directing us to do a policy? The law seems pretty clear, and it doesn't seem like a policy is necessary. But in large part, the state board policies are done at the direction of the legislature in those statutes. Now, President Hardesty has said that we are more than willing to look at the volume of policies we have and see if there's anything that we can do to revise and reform those. And I believe we will undertake that process. But ultimately, the state board can't change the law.
Well, let me just jump back in. So why wouldn't the legislature then repeal some of the code that they've passed that caused you to promulgate those policies in the first place? That's the disconnect I don't get.
Well, they can certainly do that.
So why haven't they?
Good question. I don't know that I have the answer to that.
So you're
question.
as confused as I am.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
I just wanted to see if I could get you there. Okay.
See, I told you, everybody's
mean,
confused this morning, Kelli.
I mean, they obviously have to make policy choices, as a result of their committee deliberations and the they got the RAND report, which was something that I believe they commissioned to help them deliberate on possible reforms to statutes. But it's ultimately up to the will of the legislature to take some action here. And so, I know that the State Board of Ed wants to work in partnership with the legislature to find a way forward to improve public education, to support it and promote it. I know that President Hardesty has voiced that, as have other members. So, but there's obviously more than one player in this public education governance process. The legislature is one, the State Board of Ed is one, our county school systems are another. So that's part of the thing that I think we have to come back to understand the kind of the three-legged stool that we have in public education.
And Kelli Talbott is joining us. Yeah. She's General Counsel for State Department of Education. More of an observation than a question to you, but it seems everyone has recognized, the legislature, state board, county boards, parents, residents in general, that what we are doing now is not working. Our funding for schools are closing. There are students who are struggling. We have special needs students whose needs are not being met because the funding's not there. The system's not working. Where I think folks around the state are getting frustrated, waiting for someone or some entity to take the lead on this, to say, here's where we need to go. Legislators can only go so far. They can only pass laws. Board of Education implements policy. It seems like we're stuck kind of in this loop of trying to figure out where we need to go. We know something's broke, but nobody seems to be able to offer a way to fix it. Again, more of an observation than a question to you, but your reaction.
Well, I don't disagree with you that there seems to be some back and forth about who's going to do what. I mean, that clearly seems to be the debate of the moment. And I think the State Board of Ed is willing to play their part in moving forward with some sort of reforms as needed. But again, going back to, we need the legislature to repeal laws, to pass new laws, to appropriate additional funds. That's certainly within their bailiwick, and I believe that the State Board of Ed would be willing to have that discussion.
Very quickly, because time's a factor, how many of the policies that you all have to implement stem from federal legislation?
You know, I don't have the exact number. I do know that our policy on special education is required by federal law.
All of it?
As far as I know, yes. I know that there have been some questions about how much of it flows from federal law and how much doesn't. I think in large part that it flows from federal law.
Same thing I was going to ask, TJ. Same thing. All right, Kelli Talbott, General Counsel for the State Department of Education. Thank you for the insights this morning. We appreciate it, and I'm certain not the last time we'll be speaking between now and later. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up, the State Public Service Commission has been holding and is holding an evidentiary hearing on a gas-fired power plant in Monongalia County. We'll get you the latest on that in a moment.
I'm Rachel Fetty Anderson, candidate for U.S. Senate. West Virginians are celebrating 250 years of freedom from a tyrannical government that seized land, taxed without representation, and forced the colonies to pay the cost for foreign wars. Today, our government is giving our land to corporations, silencing local governments, and defunding the infrastructure services our children need to thrive. We can stop them. Vote for a candidate who wants to represent us and stands for us, because my family lives here too. I'm Rachel Fetty Anderson, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Elect Fetty Anderson, Senate campaign.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better. And I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorod.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
The State Public Service Commission continues to hold an evidentiary hearing today, and that may spill over into Monday, with regard to a $2.5 billion natural gas-fired power plant that would be built just north of town here in Monongalia County. Yesterday, among those testifying in front of the PSC was the president of the United Mine Workers Association, Brian Sansom. TJ Meadows, down in Charleston, has probably forgotten more about energy policy than I'll ever know. So, TJ, at about 80 seconds here, give me the breakdown, buddy.
UMWA has every right to be there as an intervener. If they believe this will affect their members, they should certainly tell their story. With that said, I have looked at the testimony, direct, rebuttal, the exhibits, particularly around the need for capacity and the CRA, the Charles River Associates analysis, I should say, about the need for capacity. It is clear to me that we need this plant. And I heard no testimony yesterday that would directly and conclusively prove otherwise. Therefore, I think First Energy is well on its way to being able to get a certificate of public convenience and need because they've proven their case. That's my 2 cents on it.
You can read TJ's commentary, by the way. He writes about this in greater detail over at the website, WVMetroNews.com. We'll get the perspective of the natural gas industry. Rebecca McPhail, president of GoWV, will join us from the Charleston studios on the other side of the news. 800-765-TALK and 304-TALK-304. That's the phone number. That's the text line. A busy first hour as Talkline continues on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It is 10:30. Time for a news update. Let's check in with the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. We're expected to get new numbers this hour from the State Department of Health on how many cases of cyclosporiasis, the bad stomach virus, are in West Virginia. Earlier
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Solango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. We have a large area of air quality alerts out there in portions of West Virginia. We're in the middle of those as well. I'm observing some dense wildfire smoke impacting visibility and air quality today. The West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection, northern and central areas of the state, including Charleston, have an air quality alert until midnight. I'm looking at air quality from earlier this morning. The purple and maroon, that's very unhealthy to hazardous air quality. That goes beyond affecting sensitive breathing groups, but all groups. So it is highly recommended to take necessary precautions with the dense smoke that's out there. Tonight, chance of rain, then likely Saturday night. I'll be watching for a risk of heavy and excessive rain for the weekend, potential of flash flooding, and timing some severe weather potential too. Later today, we have a marginal risk of isolated damaging winds with storms in western areas of the state, then up to a slight risk for scattered damaging winds possible on Saturday. Eastern Panhandle, isolated large hail. Northern Panhandle, a brief spin up of a tornado possible too. 91 in Charleston yesterday. We also heating up, have some areas of dense fog with the smoke. Western areas, we have a stationary front transitioning into a warm front today, ushering in that chance of a shower and storm. Fly saver forecast, it starts at home. Charlotte heating up near 100 degrees today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, air quality alerts, high near 90, up to hazardous air quality. Chance of storms tonight, lows near 70. To the east, air quality alert, highs near 90. Chance of a storm tonight, low near 70. Central areas, some highs, low 90s in here. Air quality alert in effect until midnight, lows in the 70s. And to the south, hot, hazy, and smoky skies. Cold front works in from the north early Sunday. Saturday, rain likely. Heavy rain and excessive rain with the risk of severe weather. Then chances of storms next week, but not as hot.
This is Ben Solango with Solango Law. Solango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Solango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Solango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at solangolaw.com.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
Have you forgotten the words you said to me? This guy, this glasses wearing, he's like, man, Dave Allen's been at it all day. No producer. And he says this to me while I'm actively producing Metro News Midday. So just to illustrate what it's like to not have a producer, Coop, why don't you take 5 for a second?
Hotline on Metro News Television.
Couple of texts here, 304 Talk 304. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, John Candy, Canada's greatest export. This texter says Shania Twain is Canada's greatest export. Crown Royal and other Canadian blended whiskeys, says this texter. Canada's sending the smoke. Who's controlling the mirrors, asks the texter.
Nice.
We said unequivocally that this program is not being influenced by the Chinese. David, TJ, where are your microphones and laptops manufactured? Taiwan, obviously.
My microphone looks like Mexico.
Oh, not well.
Mexico.
This, at least in this hemisphere.
NAFTA, man. Come on. I mean,
304 Talk 304. More of your texts coming up in just a bit. Secretary of State Kris Warner will join us about 10 minutes from now. The evidentiary hearing continues with the State Public Service Commission and a $2.5 billion natural gas-fired power plant being proposed to be built just north of Morgantown in Monongalia County. For a perspective from the natural gas industry, please welcome to the program the president of Go WV, Rebecca McPhail. Rebecca, good morning. Good to talk to you again.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, TJ. It's great to be here in studio with you today.
Glad you could come in. So give us your perspective, the natural gas industry perspective. Why is this plant in the best interest of West Virginia and the customers, the electric customers in West Virginia?
Sure. I mean, just think about it for a minute. If West Virginia was in the position to really maximize its two most important natural resources, natural gas and coal. We heard a lot about this yesterday in the PSC hearing. The demand forecast, what's coming online in these projects. I mean, we're an industry that's already creating thousands of jobs in the state, creating huge economic benefit through severance taxes and property taxes and royalty payments. This is the next logical step for this industry to contribute to an unprecedented demand in the electricity space.
UMWA intervened in the case. Certainly they're right. I think that's good. The more people that are there espousing their views, the better. With that said, Brian Sanson yesterday on the stand, he made the comment, I'm paraphrasing, that if this is not built, talking about the natural gas plant, it would not hurt the natural gas industry. But if it is built, it'll hurt the coal industry. I'm sure you take exception with that comment.
Yeah, I really do. As I just said, we're in an unprecedented time when it comes to electricity demand, not just in West Virginia in this region, but everywhere. West Virginia is a long energy-producing state, and we certainly respect the hardworking coal miners, of which my father was one and my grandfather. And so you're right, they should take their seat at the table, but it was evident to me yesterday that in multiple testimonies, there's room for both. I mean, we're not looking at, picking one over the other or one job over another job, but how we use those natural resources that we have here to meet a growing demand. And we want to produce more gas. We want to pay more royalties to West Virginia mineral owners, but we've got to have something that's going to use that gas.
Rebecca McPhail joining us, president of Go WV. You sort of answered the question I have of, is natural gas and coal, are they competitors, or how can the two coexist here in West Virginia and both be successful?
Well, I mean, I think we're seeing it. Yesterday in testimony, Kris Beam talked about the data centers and other possible users that they're already in conversations with about who will use the electricity generated at this plant. That's economic development, and everybody wins when there's economic development, whether it's revenue from a data center or heavy industrial users that are attracted to being in a place where electricity is affordable and reliable. And we've got, a balance of coal and natural gas generation that people know they can depend on.
Yeah. I'll say this, in watching yesterday, there is absolutely no evidence, Dave, to support the narrative that if you build a nat gas plant by the existing Fort Martin coal plant, that it'll close that coal plant. That's comical. And here's why. Power companies do not close plants when they need more electricity. You just don't do it. They need more capacity. Their IRP has Fort Martin coal plant in the mix moving forward. So I don't think that holds. All that said, Rebecca, we have exported a lot of gas on pipelines. One of the issues we have here is we haven't used it here. Isn't this an opportunity to use the gas here and create additional value here for West Virginians?
Oh, gosh, absolutely. And, we talk about it all the time with our legislators and our members is, we are generating and producing a lot of gas now, but what's the potential for additional generation if we have the infrastructure to continue to grow? And this is part of that, using that gas in West Virginia, maybe becoming a net energy exporter. That's a benefit for ratepayers. So, I just think there's a lot of positives. And certainly the commission needs to do its due diligence and feel good about the rate impacts and make sure, because we know affordability is an issue for everybody. But we think that based on what we're hearing and what we heard yesterday, as you said, TJ, that the demand's going to be there. It's a question of how we meet it.
Talking to the president of GoWV, Rebecca McPhail, this morning. Rebecca, we throw around these kind of abstract terms, affordability, reducing cost, and we can put some numbers, but can you give us some examples of real-world impacts that folks can see of how the natural gas industry has grown and benefited communities in West Virginia?
Oh, my gosh. We work with our members to compile data. I was just looking yesterday, severance taxes last year, and that this is attributed to both coal and natural gas. The coal industry at $178 million last year in severance tax, $206 for natural gas. Add oil and natural gas liquids to that, and we're looking at an impact from our industry of over $300 million a year. We polled our members on royalty payments. In 2025, $1 billion worth of royalty payments to West Virginia mineral owners from the natural gas industry. That's significant. We've talked about it on the show before. In some cases that, allows people to keep their land. It allows them to continue to farm their land. And the jobs that we create are in the thousands. You can attribute 73,000 jobs in West Virginia to the natural gas and oil industry. And when we talk about, can we grow? Absolutely, we can grow. The production can grow, and with that grows the jobs and the contractors that we use, and what benefits the state economically.
As I'm listening to you, and please forgive the observation, I hope this doesn't upset you. As I'm listening to you, you don't seem like someone that's on the edge in terms of somebody's trying to stop this plan. It would obviously be good for our industry. You seem very calm about the entire thing. And is that because you believe, is it the economics here? You don't seem like someone that's on the defensive. Why?
I don't think there's anything to be defensive about. To me, this is an opportunity. We are at a critical intersection in West Virginia. It would be a shame to drop that ball right now. We've had these issues before. I think we looked a decade ago or more at bringing natural gas power generation to West Virginia, and certainly conditions may have been different. There was some opposition then. We didn't get things over the line, but a lot has changed in that time, and I think that we are going to see that unprecedented demand. And I think ultimately West Virginians are going to realize that it's a benefit to the entire state if we, West Virginia, are positioned to meet the demand. And natural gas has got to be a part of that.
Rebecca, we've talked about using the gas here in West Virginia, but when we talk about demand, are we talking demand increasing just across the country? Are we talking about literally exporting to European countries, worldwide demand? What kind of demand are you looking at as we look ahead 10, 20 years?
Well, I think what we've been hearing for the last day and early this morning was just the PJM demand. The capacity forecast, what's going to be needed, and trying to meet that forecast. We heard testimony yesterday that seemed pretty clear to me that without this plant, there are going to be challenges moving forward to meet the capacity demands. So, you look at what's happening in the states around us and in Ohio and Pennsylvania, they jumped on board, several years ago. They've been building out the infrastructure. So if I put my old hat on and think about manufacturing, if I think about modern economic investment and growth, it's all going to require electrons. And we can generate those here. So, digging specifically into demand, I wish I could could run out the numbers that I heard yesterday, but I heard a lot of numbers yesterday. And as I was telling TJ, it's complex. I mean, these are big issues. And so I really appreciate folks who take the time to understand that. But the demand's going to be there, and we need to be at the table meeting that demand here for the state.
Are you at all concerned that you were monitored by a flock camera as you drove over here?
I determined a long time ago that privacy is a thing of the past. Just they're everywhere, TJ.
Yeah, they are.
Rebecca McPhail, president of GoWV. Appreciate the perspective this morning, Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Secretary of State Kris Warner next.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. Fiber is now at your front door and even in rural areas and communities across West Virginia. Thanks to broadband expansion funding, your tax dollars helped make it possible. And CityNet turned that investment into real connections for local families and businesses. Now, you can get blazing fast fiber internet with free installation, free equipment, no long-term contract, and local customer support that's always close to home. Don't settle for slow or no internet for another day. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
President Trump addressed the nation last night in prime time, seeking to paint the picture that U.S. elections have security issues. Trump also pushing for the passage of the Save America Act and trying to persuade more Americans to accept his belief that the 2020 election was rigged. Joining us on Metro News Talkline this morning is the Secretary of State for the great state of West Virginia, Kris Warner, who joins us from South Dakota again this week. Kris, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Dave and TJ. It's great to be with you.
Absolutely. Good to talk to you again. Mr. Secretary, is there any evidence, any indication, any inkling that West Virginia's elections are not secure?
Our elections are safe, secure, fair, and honest. We have 55 county clerks and about 8,500 poll workers that did a phenomenal job in the primary election, and we're ready less than 4 months away to conduct a general midterm election. So there's confidence in our elections, and we're very proud of that.
Kris, the president said last night, I believe it was more than 200 million Americans, their voter information had been compromised by the Chinese. Has the White House given you or your office any information about whether or not they suspect West Virginians are among those who are compromised?
I know the president mentioned 18 states, but West Virginia has not been contacted by the White House, by anyone in the intelligence community. Nobody from FBI, CIA, DNI, or any other federal agency alerting us to any real or existing threat for our upcoming election.
Kris, hypothetically, if you were to be contacted by one of those agencies, the White House, are you and your office willing to work with them to remedy any problems? Again, big capital letters, bold, underlined, italicized, if you were to be contacted.
Absolutely. I mean, if there's any actionable intelligence, we have an election division headed by Kim Mason. We have a chief of staff, Deke Kersey, chief legal counsel, Dave Cook. We have a very veteran team at the Secretary of State's office, and for that I'm very grateful. We have the best in the best. Brittany Westfall heads our election division. There are people from all over the country that come to us for help. And then Dave Tackett is our chief information officer, used to be with CISA. So, former, federal agent, if you will. We've got the best of the best, and people from all over the country look to us. So obviously anything that comes our way that we can act on, we want to, increase our election security even further. But until then, we're going to stay the course.
Kris, you do. You have a great team. You do a great job. Let me echo that. President brought up machines last night. We've talked about machines on the show. I think machine voting is fine. I feel confident when I use it. Should West Virginians share my confidence?
They should, and here's why, TJ. We have ballot marking devices. Every vote in West Virginia cast is backed up by a paper ballot. You get to see that ballot and make sure that it is exactly who you intended to vote for, and then you put that in the ballot box. If there is something out of the ordinary, we're going to catch it. We track previous elections. We know approximately how many people are voting in every precinct. So if something happens, we're going to know it. And then 10 days later, your audit occurs, and you go back and you hand count 3% of all the precincts in every county in West Virginia to make sure that there's not one vote off. And if there's more than a 1% difference, or if the election total changes during that audit, and changes an election based on the unofficial results on election night, we hand count every ballot in the county. We have the most safe, secure, fair, and honest elections anywhere in the country.
Talking to West Virginia Secretary of State Kris Warner. Kris, you're out in South Dakota for the conference for the National Association of Secretaries of State. Has this been a topic of discussion, election security, and what has that discussion been like?
You know what NAS is really good about doing is pulling Republican and Democrat secretaries of state together, comparing best practices. There's friendly competition that goes on between states. We actually got to present 3 times. The state of West Virginia presented 3 different times during this conference. Again, I can't say it enough that the folks, your listening on the audience needs to know that the rest of the country looks to the folks in our office for the best ideas and the best practices, and we're here to pick up the best practices from other states as well.
Kris, DOJ recently asked for voter roll information. You refused them. You held firm on that. If they come back to you citing the president's speech last night and ask for information again, does that change the calculus?
It does not. West Virginia law says I'm not to share personal information. That's Social Security numbers, driver's license numbers, tied to birth dates, in some cases cell phone numbers, email addresses, your home address. Again, there would need to be actionable intelligence that is going to strengthen our election security before we do anything further. But we're not sharing that information. I agree with the mission. We do not want people voting outside of the law. We don't want illegals or non-citizens voting in our elections. But that information is personal. It does not need to be floating around with vendors in Washington, D.C. or whatever they may choose to do with it. You can't do any better than our 55 county clerks to keep our voter rolls clean. And again, very proud of the fact that we've removed 471,000 names in the last 9 years to keep our rolls clean. And that's 471,000 opportunities for fraud to occur that are no longer there.
West Virginia Secretary of State Kris Warner. Kris, we appreciate you joining us on short notice this morning. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. 800-765-TALK, 304-TALK, 304. Back to wrap up a busy hour number 1 right after this.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZMM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZMM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better. And I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
For over 20 years, Dan Cabot Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cabot Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
We're going to do public math, so it's 31 divided by 4.
Yeah, just under 8 per win.
Just mark it down.
Put Tony and I down
Just
for
go.
8. Coach Hunter, put us on the prediction show for 8. We already got it. There's the math.
Just go. Sportsline on Metro News Television.
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. Powerball jackpots $526 million. Mega Millions is $672 million. So go ahead, play today. Oh, by the way, TJ, we got questions about this, that, and the other, flock cameras, election integrity. The CDC reporting. 2 federal agencies say West Virginia is one of 5 states where shredded lettuce from the supplier in Mexico has been sold at some Taco Bells. And cases of the bad stomach bug have doubled in West Virginia.
My nephew sends me a pic last night of him going through Taco Bell. Brave man, I said. Brave man.
This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. We have a large area of air quality alerts out there in portions of West Virginia. We're in the middle of those as well. I'm observing some dense wildfire smoke impacting visibility and air quality today. The West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection, northern and central areas of the state, including Charleston, have an air quality alert until midnight. I'm looking at air quality from earlier this morning. The purple and maroon, that's very unhealthy to hazardous air quality. That goes beyond affecting sensitive breathing groups, but all groups. So it is highly recommended to take necessary precautions with the dense smoke that's out there. Tonight, chance of rain, then likely Saturday night. I'll be watching for a risk of heavy and excessive rain for the weekend, potential of flash flooding, and timing some severe weather potential too. Later today, we have a marginal risk of isolated damaging winds with storms in western areas of the state, then up to a slight risk for scattered damaging winds possible on Saturday. Eastern Panhandle, isolated large hail. Northern Panhandle, a brief spin up of a tornado possible too. 91 in Charleston yesterday. We also heating up, have some areas of dense fog with the smoke. Western areas, we have a stationary front transitioning into a warm front today, ushering in that chance of a shower and storm. Fly Saver forecast, it starts at home. Charlotte heating up near 100 degrees today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, air quality alerts, high near 90, up to hazardous air quality. Chance of storms tonight, lows near 70. To the east, air quality alert, highs near 90. Chance of a storm tonight, low near 70. Central areas, some highs, low 90s in here. Air quality alert in effect until midnight, lows in the 70s. And to the south, hot, hazy, and smoky skies. Cold front works in from the north early Sunday. Saturday, rain likely. Heavy rain and excessive rain with the risk of severe weather. Then chances of storms next week, but not as hot.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs...
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Welcome in, second hour of MetroNews Talkline. Steam release coming up at 11:33, and if the first 4 days of this week have been any indication, you have steam to release. We'll do that bottom of the hour. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. The text line is 304-TALK-304. Gang's all here. David Morgantown, TJ in Charleston, Sophia handling the phones, intern Mila at the controls for the video stream, and Jake is supervising. He's just really sitting there, not doing a whole lot this morning. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia. And those of you watching it on the Metro News TV app, we appreciate it. Again, steam release coming up bottom of the hour. I might have some steam to release myself, TJ. How about you? You got any steam built up down there this morning? Are you okay?
Oh, dude, it's a 24/7. I've given up on my blood pressure. I'm just gonna, stroke out at some point. DHS Secretary on the podium right now, David, on election security, starting his speech, Americans should rest assured their vote counts. There you go.
All right, let's just bring Kris Stirewalt into the conversation. Politics editor for the Hill NewsNation, host of the Hill Sunday on NewsNation, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, author of books on politics and media. Why are we still talking about this? Oh, good morning, Kris, first of all. Why are we talking about this again?
Well, I think the president's speech serves a couple of purposes. I think one is that it lays down a predicate for, 3 purposes. One is I'm sure does want the Save America Act to be passed. So it was a legislative speech. 2, it was a political speech in the sense that if what we expect to happen in November happens in November, that Republicans are laying down, just as they did in 2024, laying down the predicate for it was stolen from us. And then number 3 is mischief. I'm not that worried about Mark Wayne Mullen doing bad things. I don't think he is. I think he is a grown up enough person and a patriotic enough person that I think that he is unlikely to use his office to interfere with elections. But I do think that the FBI, Kash Patel, I do think that certainly the acting director of national intelligence, Bill Pulte, and others, I think this is if you're an elections official, West Virginia went through this with the Trump administration. West Virginia, which voted for Donald Trump by 30 points or more, I'm sure more. The Secretary of State in West Virginia didn't want to comply and turn over all of the voter data to the federal government because you shouldn't, because it's wrong, whether it's a Republican or whether it's a Democrat. Elections are state things, and you don't want the federal government sticking its nose too far into it. And that's just a foretaste of what's to come, because what's going to happen is that the federal government, the executive branch of the federal government, is going to try to interfere with this election. And it's true. They're laying it out bit by bit. And in California, where the House may be on the line, in Senate races where it could determine the majority, I fully expect that the Justice Department and we don't know that this is sorry for this cul-de-sac, but the president has nominated a guy named Jay Clayton to be the new director of national intelligence. Jay Clayton enjoys a lot of esteem from Republicans and Democrats alike. I think he would be unlikely, aside from his willful ignorance about the results of the 2020 election, I think he would be unlikely to engage in mischief. But certainly I expect the Justice Department, certainly I expect the FBI and every other ambitious member of the administration to do everything that they think they can get away with to interfere with the election and then cast doubt on the results at the end.
I'm floored by that. And the reason I am is because I believe you're correct. With that said, is this it, Kris? Is this the it moment if it happens? I mean, has our democracy, our republic, ever faced such a challenge?
Yeah, of course. The 20th century, the first half of the 20th century included brutal voter suppression against black voters, legal, brutal, at the snout of a dog, at the end of a fire hose, efforts to keep black people from voting. In the Tilden v. Hayes election, there were competing slates of electors that were presented to Congress. That's how they ended up. Congress never certified a winner in that election and just said, we're going to appoint a commission, I guess, that is going to try to determine who maybe probably won the election. We've had it bad in the past. The tragedy of this, of course, is that prior to we could say, probably still say, that it's never been easier to vote in America, and the voting process has never been more secure, right? We have lived in a golden age of election administration, and people's mistrust in the system has only gone up. And there are a lot of ways that we can explain it. Americans are, I unfortunately have to say, are rightly concerned about their franchise and the future of democracy, because both of these terrible, terrible parties have been absolutely committed to federalizing the elections, taking power away from the states, and getting control of them. The first action of the Democratic Senate after the 2020 election was a power grab to try to seize control of elections away from states. And guess what the Republicans are doing now? And I promise you, I absolutely promise you that this isn't the aha moment. The moment comes when the federal government finally does get control of the election process and either of these two terrible parties gets control of it and decides that they're never going to lose another election again, and they're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they don't. And that's a tragedy.
Well, have the parties already decided, Kris, not that they're never going to lose an election, but they've decided they aren't losing them, because if they lose an election, it's this invisible boogeyman. The Russians have interfered, or it was stolen, or China has interfered. If the Supreme Court makes a decision you don't like, well, they're corrupt, and that needs nobody just loses anymore.
No majority except for mine is legitimate. Right. I am the only, and this is a populist. This is a tribune of the people. The Gracchus brothers at the end of the Roman Republic. If I am the tribune of the people, if I am the true voice of the people, if I don't win, then inherently the voice of the people has not been heard. And the delegitimating of majorities, that it's not true, right? And so we could go back to Barack Obama is a secret Muslim and a stealth Kenyan who was planted inside this country to destroy it from within. Wait, what? Okay, so that was delegitimating the person. But Republicans didn't say that the 2008 election was stolen. Democrats did, though, many Democrats did say that the 2004 election was stolen. Remember Michael Moore and the Diebold voting machines in Ohio, and they took it away. They took it away. Voter fraud claims, right and wrong, are old and will always be with us. We have reached a point, though, now where the delegitimating of majorities prevents reasonable governance, because if you can't even say that the other side got there, that they beat you fair and square, right? If you have two football teams, if WVU and Pitt won't acknowledge their losses, then what's the record, right? Then what's the record? No, we won that game. No, you didn't win that game. Yeah, it was rigged. You stole it. You don't improve. You don't change. You don't do anything differently for the next game, because you just say, nope, they stole it from us. So we're not going to make any changes, because the only thing that we have to change is the refs.
So give me a little rope here. I'm going to fumble this a bit, but I think you can help us unpack this question that I've been thinking about. So classical liberalism, and for those out there who are confused by that, I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about the thought of like John Locke and folks, individuals matter, individual rights, classical
Socrates,
liberalism.
brother. Socrates. Great. Socrates.
Yeah, that that versus this post-classical liberalism era that would tell us you're not capable of coming to good conclusions on your own. We have to do it for you. We have to determine what is good. And I think that extends to your point, Democratic, Republican, whatever party. Is that how these folks are kidding themselves and justifying the actions that they want to take? It's all part of the greater good.
Do you people subscribe to the Whole Hog Politics newsletter? Do you?
I do.
Yes, of course.
You better. I'm worth $6 a month. In the note today, there is the Pew. Does it the NPOR? Every 3 years, they look at the electorate and say, this is the deepest data dive on who voters support, what are the patterns. Look through those numbers, and you know what you'll see? The movement is all towards independent, unaffiliated, right? There's a couple places where the Republicans gained and gave one back and whatever. But if you look in the right column, you'll just see that people are just moving away from both of these parties. They're just moving away from these parties. And it's a logical response to what you're talking about, which is the infantilization of voters and telling people, look, the Republican Party has been running on immigration since 2012, right? Since 2012, immigration has been a centerpiece of the Republican Party's pitch. They haven't passed a single piece of substantive immigration legislation since they took control of both chambers of Congress and the White House. Nothing. They gave the president $80 billion or whatever for enforcement, but they have not tried to fix the system. You remember when they were going to fix the system? There was an idea, James Lankford and some others said, hey, we have Biden over a barrel on this issue. Let's do something. And remember what Republicans said? No. We're not going to give Democrats a win on this. And then and we're going to wait until we win it all and have total control. They're infantilizing voters because they're telling voters that their only choices are between everything that they want and nothing that they want. And they're not acting like grown-ups, and they're not treating American voters like grown-ups, and they are. American voters are grown-ups.
We just want normal. I don't think that's too much to ask, but we keep getting crazy instead of normal.
Well, you got to get rid of partisan primary elections.
Right.
If you want, we can come back to this every week.
Yep.
If you want, when you have elections where the 30% of the country divided between both sides that is just politically obsessed, addicted, and consumed. Look at the speaking of Pew studies on how much engagement, how engaged are Americans. 9% of the country is super engaged. 61% of the country is on the sidelines. And that 9% is crazy. They're crazy, and they're driving us off a cliff.
Let's bring it back to the great state for a second. Bit of a curveball for you. I apologize.
Ready.
The flock debate has hit West Virginia. To allow yourself to be flocked or not, Huntington going to install these flock cameras.
Oh, the cameras.
Yes. Yes. Is that a big thing in the district? Do you have thoughts? Dave and I have been opining on it all week.
I mean, the thing about the surveillance state is at a certain point, it just gets to be too late. And you're like, well, everything is surveilled. My life is, I'm constantly being monitored everywhere I go and everything that I do. And then you sort of give up because I'm carrying a tracking device in my pocket. So maybe I shouldn't, maybe I shouldn't be so worried about it. I would think though that in West Virginia, there's enough Montanai Semper Liberi left for people to say that they don't want a private entity monitoring their existence and then basically, you know what the flock stuff is? It's monetizing surveillance. It's a private company that's making money off of tracking you.
How's the smoke? How's the air in DC?
I'm trying to convince my son to only play 9 today instead of 18. That's how bad it is. It's bad enough here. It's bad enough here that I'm begging him to take it down to 9 instead of 18 because I was scoffing. I was like, oh well, whatever. This is what they say. But you can feel it in it. You can feel it in your throat. You can feel it. It is definitely it is a miasma. We are in a malaise, gentlemen. We are in a malaise as usual here in Washington, D.C.
Well, we can all agree. Blame Canada.
Blame Canada. That's exactly right.
Hey,
beer
Kris,
is terrible.
Always appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much as always.
Happy Friday, gentlemen.
Kris Stirewalt, politics editor for The Hill and NewsNation, host of The Hill Sunday on NewsNation, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Steam release coming up a couple of minutes from now. We've got time for dialogue. 304-TALK, 304-800-765-TALK's the phone number. Back in a moment.
An irregular heartbeat can be serious. At WVU Medicine, our electrophysiology team offers world-class care, close to home and always within reach, to diagnose and treat heart rhythm disorders with advanced technology and devices. For more information, visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorod.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then before I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in store at Daniel's.
304 Talk 304 800 765 8255. That's the phone number. Just saw this during the break, scrolling through the news, TJ. Oscar-winning actress Brenda Fricker has died at the age of 81. Now, that name probably not familiar to you. Maybe not. She was an Irish actress.
I'm drawing a blank.
But remember the lady in Central Park, the bird lady from Home Alone 2?
Yes, that's her.
That is her, yes.
Oh, that's terrible.
Passing away at the age of 81. Let's go to the phones. Frank wants to weigh in. Hey, Frank.
Good morning. To the Justice family, with regard to the Greenbrier, either pay your taxes and bills or give it up. Very simple. Pay your taxes and bills or give it up.
All right. Thank you. Frank with an early steam this morning. Don't blame him. Has it been a weird week? Wait a minute. Sorry. I pulled you down instead of the phone.
You're good.
Has it been a weird week?
It's been a weird week.
Okay. I'm not
for
the
a
only
lot
one.
of different reasons that I won't go into. It has, though. It's just been a weird kind of week. And now I'm looking at a live shot of Chicago, Dave, and my goodness, it looks like London with all this smoke. I mean, I see why if Chicago and Washington are similar, I see why Stirewalt doesn't want to play. I wouldn't even play 9 in that. I don't know how you breathe in that.
Let me just tell you, I knew it was going to be a weird day when I was coming in to work this morning, TJ.
Mm-hmm.
For any number of reasons, but this was the tipping point. I went, it's going to be weird. Driving, I come to work, it's dark, it's very early.
Mm-hmm.
You got the smoke, it's hazy. Walking toward me, I knew what it was, but if you've ever seen a deer walk straight towards you while you're in a vehicle, it is very creepy looking.
Yeah.
This one, not only could you see the eyes glowing through the smoke, unfortunately, this deer had a leg injury, so it had a very awkward gait to it. It took me a second, TJ, as I was looking at this walking toward me in the dark, 2-lane road, nothing else around. I went, either that's a deer or I need to call the overnight show right now and confirm everything Art Bell and George Norrie have been talking about over the last, 30 years. I mean, this thing was creepy looking.
Did you get a picture of it, or did it take off too quick?
Well, I mean, I do not use my mobile device while driving, TJ.
You were driving. Okay,
I was
you were still
driving.
driving.
Yeah,
okay.
I was driving.
Yeah,
middle of the.
It's like sounds like a zombie deer, like one that like.
It was it was weird, and I said, you know what? I think it's going to be a weird day, and it has turned out to be a weird day.
It's a weird time, man. I mean,
I don't know. Again, if it's dog days of summer, but people are all worked up over the flock cameras. People are worked up over we talk education reform, and that devolves into an argument of public versus private versus homeschool. The election integrity comes up, and it's just I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of angst in the air today.
It feels like we all were probably forewarned, though. How many of us were accused in kindergarten of not playing well in the sandbox with others, and now that is manifesting into society? It just seems like if we could all just take a second and understand the other guy's point of view, maybe it'd be a little easier at least.
And to top it all off, I can't even go get a grande meal because, well, we know what might happen after that. 800-765-TALKS the phone
Make your
number.
own taco weekend. Don't go to the Bell.
304-TALK-304. Steam Release is next. It is 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Solango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. We have a large area of air quality alerts out there in portions of West Virginia. We're in the middle of those as well. I'm observing some dense wildfire smoke impacting visibility and air quality today. The West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection, northern and central areas of the state, including Charleston, have an air quality alert until midnight. I'm looking at air quality from earlier this morning. The purple and maroon, that's very unhealthy to hazardous air quality. That goes beyond affecting sensitive breathing groups, but all groups. So it is highly recommended to take necessary precautions with the dense smoke that's out there. Tonight, chance of rain, then likely Saturday night. I'll be watching for a risk of heavy and excessive rain for the weekend, potential of flash flooding, and timing some severe weather potential too. Later today, we have a marginal risk of isolated damaging winds with storms in western areas of the state, then up to a slight risk for scattered damaging winds possible on Saturday. Eastern Panhandle, isolated large hail. Northern Panhandle, a brief spin up of a tornado possible too. 91 in Charleston yesterday. We also heating up, have some areas of dense fog with the smoke. Western areas, we have a stationary front transitioning into a warm front today, ushering in that chance of a shower and storm. Fly saver forecast, it starts at home. Charlotte heating up near 100 degrees today. From Panhandle to Panhandle, air quality alerts, high near 90, up to hazardous air quality. Chance of storms tonight, lows near 70. To the east, air quality alert, highs near 90. Chance of a storm tonight, low near 70. Central areas, some highs, low 90s in here. Air quality alert in effect until midnight, lows in the 70s. And to the south, hot, hazy, and smoky skies. Cold front works in from the north early Sunday. Saturday, rain likely. Heavy rain and excessive rain with the risk of severe weather. Then chances of storms next week, but not as hot.
This is Ben Solango with Solango Law. Solango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Solango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Solango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at solangolaw.com.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
Have you forgotten the words you said to me? This guy, this glasses wearing, he's like, man, Dave Allen's been at it all day. No producer. And he says this to me while I'm actively producing Metro News Midday. So just to illustrate what it's like to not have a producer, Coop, why don't you take 5 for a second?
Hotline on Metro News Television.
Made it to a Friday. It's 11:33. You know what that means.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
It's been a weird week. There's a lot of steam that has built up. There's smoke from wildfires that is building up. This is your chance to let it all vent out. And you know what? Your blood pressure will come down. You're going to have a much, much better weekend because of it. It's been hot. It's been humid. We got smoke in the air. Let your steam go at 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. You can text your steam to 304-TALK 304. Just a couple of simple rules we ask that you adhere to. Number one, please do not get us sued or fired. They kind of go hand in hand. Number two, we may not respond to your steams. You can steam unfettered about anything you wish to steam about. That includes current host, past host, even future host. We may not respond. Try to keep them tight. Try to keep them on point, and we'll get to as many of them as we possibly can throughout the next 26 minutes. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. You can text your steam to 304-TALK 304. We begin on the phones. Let's go out to Fish Creek. Junior, you're batting leadoff. What's your steam?
Good morning, TJ and other guy. What's going on down in the big city?
What's up,
life.
Junior?
Hello, you got me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my God, what's going on, TJ? Hey, you know, that smoke, it kind of reminds me of back there in the late 60s, early 70s, a couple concerts I went to. You know what I mean? Woo! But anyway, I heard old Howie's on the mend, and he wanted prayers, but I think what he really needs is about a half a dozen of them sheets burgers, and I think he'd be 100% better. He'd been on a missing them, you know, and he was on them for like months at an end, so I said we all get together and get him some sheets burgers and get him back on air. If not that, TJ, come on up to Wheeling. We could use you, brother. Hey, you guys have a great day. And remember, smoke them if you got them.
Junior, have a great weekend. 800-765-TALK's the phone number, 304-TALK, 304 the text line. Mike, you're on steam release.
Good morning. I've got to accuse both of you of journalistic malpractice. When you interviewed that lady from the West Virginia Way, I'd never heard of that organization, so I looked them up. They're a hard left advocacy group masquerading as journalists. They're not a local group. They're part of a national organization with tens of millions of dollars of funding from who knows where. And if you look at their articles they have on their website, they cherry-pick their articles, and they're very one-sided. They cherry-pick the facts. And all you have to do, though, is look at one of their principles is DEI-J, which they define as, DEI-J is for justice. So they're very left-wing. They're typical of these advocates who try to hide what their real motivation is. So the next time you have, whether left-wing or right-wing, next time you have someone like that on, you need to be up front with your audience and tell them they're a left-wing advocacy group or right-wing. But so you guys, you know, those things happen. You make mistakes. I feel better. I've got my steam off, although I am still pretty steamy because I'm calling you from the Outer Banks. I'm on vacation, and you guys have a good day.
Mike, enjoy your vacation. Appreciate the steam. Let's go back up to the Northern Panhandle. Stan in Wheeling. Hey, Stan, what's your steam?
Hey, I'm sick and tired of Democrats whining about the coal industry. I'm going to take my Republican gas royalty check all the way to the bank. Ha, 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 ha.
Stan, appreciate the steam. Have a great weekend, buddy. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Just cleared a couple of phone lines. If you want to call to release your steam, you can also text your steam to 304-TALK 304. Let's get some of those text steams, TJ.
Texter says, West Virginia leads in illiteracy. 304-TALK 304. Yes, the oil and gas companies have paid over $1 billion to royalty owners for property in West Virginia, but it needs to be known that the companies do not want to pay these royalties. They see them as a burden, and they have lobbied the legislature to allow the companies to hoard royalty money through post-production costs and other means. There are numerous lawsuits across the states. The union, talking about the UMWA, voted for Obama when he said he will bankrupt coal companies. Elections have consequences. Which would you do? Turn a valve or hire truck drivers, load operators, and permit writers? This texter chimes in saying, we can give rides to outer space, but no new technology to combat wildfires? Thank goodness for our firefighters. How in the heck can anyone be against showing an ID to prove who you are to vote? West Virginia is safe and secure. But what about the other states that seem to take forever to count their votes and have ballot dumps that seem to always help the Democrats? This does affect West Virginians because those states send way more delegates to D.C. to pass laws that affect us. Wake up, boys. 304-TALK 304 is the text line. So our war president, Donald Trump, has stated that the People's Republic of China hacked into voter databases in the U.S. Will he react to this act by China by fearing war on China? Texter then follows up and says, declaring war. Darn it, spell check got me again. Okay, this voting counting machine we have, Kris brings up this machine again as if the thing is not used anywhere else in America. True, says the texter. The federal government said it has a right to all citizen information such as voting information, social security numbers, gun purchases, etc. Steam release. During last week's Steam release, 2 men called to complain about Hoppy's commentary of July the 2nd, 2026, titled His Majesty's Celebration, which lampooned DJT's self-centered 250 shindig. Hoppy triggered these 2 MAGA adherents because Hoppy recognizes that truth still matters. All, please have a blessed weekend, says the texter. My Steam is for the Gucci Kroger, pausing my attempt to pay for my purchases so they can review my checking out. 12 six-packs is a lot, but they were all scanned. Should have gone to Krog Ghetto and shopped with my people, says the texter.
304-TALK 304, that's the text line. You can give us a call, 800-765-8255, 800-765-TALK. Those are the numbers to release your Steam. More Steam release coming up just a moment. CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door, and now is the perfect time to connect. Local customer support you can trust. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects. More Steam release coming up.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better. And I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown!
Lead.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Steam release continues here on a Friday. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Text your Steam to 304-TALK 304. Let's go back to the phones. Anthony, what's your Steam, Anthony?
My steam is long-winded steamers wanting to hang around longer than the Canadian wildfire smoke. Bang it out and go. Bye, y'all.
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Text your Steam, 304-TALK 304. Lots of text teams, TJ. Let's get to them.
Quote, have we ever seen this before? TJ, did you vote in the presidential election in 2000? Did the Supreme Court decide your candidate? Have you ever heard of Rudy Giuliani? You realize that he was fined $148 million for defamation of 2 election workers. Putnam County may be the land of milk and honey politically, but denial isn't a river in Egypt. The party of stupid has willingly been taken over by MAGA. Blame the Dems' ineptitude all you want, but they didn't vote for Trump. Enjoy your high blood pressure. Everyone swore the president would abolish elections, have amended down to interference. Your guest is just another alarmist. Chalkin Little strikes again. Another spell check victim. This dude isn't logical talking about Stirewalt on immigration. There are plenty of immigration laws already. They just need enforced. Pee on Canada. Excuse me, I meant urinate on Canada. Yeah, you used another P word. I don't know if I can say that or not. So yesterday, Shelley Moore Capito said she hopes Trump would focus his speech last night on winning the next elections, not the 2020 election again. But of course, rehashing the claim that the 2020 election was stolen from him was the main focus of last night's speech. Any response from Capito yet? Seems the Steyer cult has no interest in fair elections, just that one side doesn't win, and he's willing to sacrifice elections to have that happen. Dave and TJ, you think that's weird? Alert. Emus on the loose in Charleston. Emus are loose in the eastern area of Charleston. They are known to be around Rutledge Road and Campbell's Creek Drive. Watch out for them if driving in the area. A nice picture of those emus accompanies that text. Steam release, Dave and TJ. I generally enjoy going to the Metro News website to read your commentaries as well as hobbies and also read the comments left by others. However, I have not been able to comment lately, and it now appears that nobody can leave a comment. I guess you guys can't stand to have anyone disagree with you. Editor's note. I have talked with the IT folks about this. What happened, we use a third-party API, a third-party company, for those comments. We do that so that you don't get spammed by people trying to sell you things and flooding the comments. Without any notice, that company ended their product service and left us hanging. We are trying desperately to find another company that can provide this service, but without that, it brings in all the spam, is my understanding, so bear with us. We are working